So we are asking Csiky Anna. Can you tell us about the highlight of the conference?
It's a difficult question, isn't it? But I'd say one thing I'll definitely remember was the sort of the World Cafe session that Judith and Uwe and the participants from the mentor course organized. And we were discussing 3 topics that are all really close to my heart. One was mentoring. Another one was alternative assessment, which is something I've been experimenting with. And the last one was a student-teacher relationship in this like changing world. And I mean, it was a session, you know, where there was coffee, there was tea, there was cake, and there were people passionate about teaching, discussing issues. I think we had like 10 minutes for each topic, and the 10 minutes were great, and you had this feeling like, oh, I wish I could talk about this for some more hours. And I think experiences are really important for teachers, because it's a tough job. And when I can do something like that, it really gives me the energy to move on and do things for another year until the next conference comes around.
So what would you say has been a highlight of this conference for you?
Well, from the beginning when I walked into this building, it was very promising. I like the spaces here. I don't know how many people noticed that, but I liked how the flow it encouraged me to go through the exhibition hall and meet new people, talk to people. It's everything is very compactly, nicely put together. So I like that a lot. And of course, a conference for me is always a place where I get new ideas, get recharged, and always make connections, and in a way remember why I'm here, why I chose to do what I do, which sometimes we forget.
So Anton, what would you say has been a highlight of this conference for you?
I must say there have been lots of highlights here. One is, of course, I'm coming here because I'm meeting a lot of friends, making new friends as well. And the book exhibition is really great. Everyone is so friendly, and it's, I would say, family-like. Everybody knows everyone, so it's not like the big conferences, like the big IATEFL in England. Yeah? And then the Hungarian conferences, I would say, are quite different from other conferences because they are more creative. So the things you get there, you can really use in the classroom. Yeah? And this, for me, this is the most important thing, because at university we have had lots of theoretical training, and we would like really to get a glimpse, at least, from the classroom. And that's very important to me and also to my teachers I'm training, and that's why I'm coming here. But of course, I mean, there are many outstanding sessions here, but the one I really enjoyed also, it was a lot of fun, was David Evans' session, of course, on TED. How you as a speaker, as a teacher, should behave in the classroom, what you should really think of before dealing with your students or children or whatsoever.
Lidija, what would you say has been a highlight of this conference for you?
Well, this is my first time to Hungarian IATEFL conference, and apart from people, because I believe they're always the highlight of any conference, I would say the workshop I went to in a cafe, since when Uwe was giving out coffee and cookies, and we all just sat and talked about everyday problems which seem to be universal in teaching and in classrooms, of course, and that was inspiring for me, because I deal with Roma students, and so many people are dealing with much worse problems, but also some of them never heard of problems like ours. So the highlight moment would be sharing and exchanging experiences. I'm rather young teacher, only 9 years in school, but I could definitely learn from the others.
Barbie, what would you say has been a highlight of this conference for you?
a highlight. That's very, very difficult to point out a highlight of a conference, but maybe Maggie Kubaniova's talk. You know, everybody was crying and people were looking for tissues, and something happened there. And if you want me to tell you what she was talking about, I wouldn't be able to tell you, because it was an experience. It was, so she was reassuring me about what I have been thinking about a lot. Like, we are not only teachers to explain the present simple or the present continuous, but we deal with people. And I don't know, well, I can't tell you. So you need to be here to understand this.
Kolos, what would you say has been a highlight of this conference for you?
Oh, it's always a very tricky question, I think, because it's very difficult to single out just one thing, really. But if I had to do that, I would say that it definitely has to go back to the theme of the conference, the 3Ds. And I would take it in a more traditional sense, the 3D being very realistic, very as opposed to virtual. So I think it's always very important to have a very friendly atmosphere, and it always depends on the location. And Kaposvár is a very ideal place to host such a conference, because I could feel this 3D happening all the time, because people usually have an idea of what the conference is like, and they might have the idea that, okay, it's just an endless amount of workshops and plenary talks and talking and taking notes and all this, but it's really much more than that, and it really happened here in Kaposvár, because you could actually see the people behind the talks, behind the conference, behind also the organization of the conference was wonderful, and you had a chance to talk to them before or after the sessions, and it really gave this impression of being very, very realistic and friendly.
Tatjana, what would you say has been a highlight of this conference for you?
This is the second conference I'm attending, and I enjoyed a lot the whole experience. I think I mostly enjoyed David Evans' plenary talk. I was really surprised and really inspired, so I'm going to use a lot of things that I've learned during his talk. I also enjoyed all the workshops that I attended, and mostly I think making contacts with all the colleagues from Hungary and all the other countries.
Beáta, what would you say has been a highlight of this conference for you?
The highlight of this conference is for me really that I am here by Akadémia Kiadó, as I am a winner of the scholarship which was sponsored by them, and I am really proud of this, and also I am very lucky of this, because in this conference I could meet so many colleagues from other countries, and I could get so many international experiences, and I also learned so much from the workshops. It was really inspiring for me, and I get so many practical methods and advices from them how to do it really.